Okay, this is a little bit different from what I normally do. As you can see, I have a bunch of cars out here. There was a discussion on Vinny's live stream, BNSF6951, and there will be two videos filmed today that are about him, or his streams. In that conversation someone was claiming, I can't remember who it was, there was two people at least who were saying that Matchbox is 1/64th, it's S scale. Well, this video, I said I would do a video on it, because I have a lot of Matchbox cars. I have this is my recent acquisitions. This is from a friend, a former friend. And I have Matchbox that I've had for years. I've had a lot of Hot Wheels. Now, a little history on Matchbox. Most people should know this because growing up in America, at least, you should know that Matchbox was all made the same size. Not the same scale, the same size. And this was because they originally came in little boxes, and the vehicles were all made to fit in those little boxes, and therefore they were all basically the same length. They were pretty much all the same height, so they would all fit in these little boxes that were mass-produced. And now that has changed a little bit. The boxes are gone, but the packaging is all the same. It's all uniform. I mean, in that package, there's a little bit of alteration for like the helicopter and this plane boat thing, and this boat and this boat. There's a little bit to fit the contours and the street cleaner, but it's pretty much all the same size. There's sometimes they'll narrow it down to hold a car that's a little bit not as tall, but they're pretty much all the same size, and the packaging is pretty much all the same size. So if they're all the same size with each other, of course, they're not going to be all the same scale. So what we have here is we have a smattering of things. There's one Hot Wheels here, this one. Now Hot Wheels does not, at least the cars I have, they do not put a scale on the bottom of their vehicles. Matchbox started it in about the 1980s. There is one, this Hot Wheels vehicle, as you can see, this is actually sitting, this truck right here, this semi, is a HO scale, 187.1 scale replica. This is an S scale behind it, and this pickup truck is an S scale. That's actually 1/64 scale, it's a 1/64 scale replica. This is more toy-like, but it's still 1/64th scale. This is a Hot Wheels, this does not have a scale. This does not say what scale it is. It doesn't even say when it was made. Anyway, yes it does. 1974. So that's a Hot Wheels. This is back when Hot Wheels was more realistic. I have several of these vehicles. One's a bomb squad truck. Then I have three of these emergency trucks. And I have the silver pumper and the red pumper as well. So if they're the same size, all the same size, they're of course not all the same scale. But what scales are they? Well, this one is made 1979. This one does not say a scale, but the garbage truck is the same length, basically the same length as that Hot Wheels, and it's basically the same length, almost right on, to this. Now this is not a Hot Wheels or Matchbox. This is a majorette. This is a BMW 3251. The scale is 1/58th. So it is fairly close to S scale, but it is too big. This is the closest I could find to S scale. This is 1/65th. This is a Jaguar XJ6, also majorette, with working doors, just like the Polizzi. With an S scale cow, an S scale horse, an S-scale pig, and an S-scale goose or duck. I can't remember what it's in the packaging. Now we have two vehicles here that are the same scale. These are 1/83rd. So these are closer to HO than S. A lot closer to HO than S. But they're not quite there. I believe this is a little bit scale smaller. This is a little bit closer to HO. This is 1/84th. Once again, not S scale by any means. Now we have these. These are both the same scale. It's a Toyota Super Turbo and a Ferrari F40. Now these are closer. These are not HO scale. These are not S scale, but they're closer to S scale. These are 1/59th. Pretty much the same length. They're the same scale to each other, so they'd be pretty close to scale to each other. But a Ferrari F40 and a tree care truck are not the same length. You have this bus and this motorhome. They're pretty much the same length. Are they the same scale? No, they're not. This one is 1/80th and this one is 1/70th. The real opening door. And this is actually has details inside. They actually have a detailed interior on that, which is kind of cool. And those came in the same set. Now this one is, can't remember what this one is. This is 1/68th, so this is a little bit smaller than S scale, but it would look fairly decent. These are the same scale. These are actually the same truck, only this one, the ladder got broken off. These are 1/100th. These are also majorette. Now let's have to take a school bus. You can tell right away where I'm going with this. 1/59th scale Toyota Super Turbo, 1/95th scale school bus. They're both Matchbox. This is too small even for HO. Not too much smaller, but it wouldn't look right. It wouldn't look right. Now the most glaring one. Now this is not quite realistic. I mean, crash tenders do not have fancy rims like that. No. And they also don't have low profile tires. But pretty much anybody knows what a crash tender looks like, airport crash tender looks like. And they are certainly not the same size as a school bus. They're closer to a school bus than they are to a Toyota Super Turbo or a Ford Expedition. And they're certainly not narrower. This one is 1/124th. So this would not fit S scale by any stretch of the imagination. It would not fit HO at all. It'd be closer to N. So it might look okay on an N scale layout, but it would not look good on an S scale or an HO scale layout. We'll show it in comparison with the N scale car, and it's pretty decent. I mean, you wouldn't fit it on this. You wouldn't fit one of these on these anyway. Then there's a real working rigs series by Matchbox. Now, unfortunately, Matchbox, they put scales on everything except these. They do not put scales on these. I don't know what scale they are. These are pretty close to S scale. I mean, they look decent. S or HO, one or the other. I mean, I'd say more HO. Probably about halfway in between. But they're nice vehicles. I have a Ariel, a Quint, and a waste management truck and a cargo truck with real working rigs series. But none of them are S-scale. Some of them are close, like one off or a few off, but none of them are actually S-scale, at least none that I have seen. I didn't look through every single Matchbox thing. There might be some in this package, or there might be some there that I didn't see. But Matchbox, Hot Wheels, they're all made to fit these cases and their own packaging. So they're not going to be to scale with each other. I mean, you got that crane. It's the same length as that van. You got the ambulance. Well, that's a kid's connection. But this ambulance is the same length as that, which that's not accurate. The truck itself is not accurate. So there's the answer to that debate. There is no set scale for Matchbox. They are not they're not S scale, they are not HO, they are to size with each other, but they are not a specific scale. And I am very happy that I got that down to a short amount of time, fairly short amount of time. So I will end the video and I will start off with a mail call. And I'll go back to a mail call. Stay tuned. I don't know which one I'll upload first, but yeah, probably upload the mail call first.